Okay. So again, good morning, and I'm glad to be here with you everyone again. It's been nice to be again with you this time. So for my presentation, I'll be talking about the mediation or the history of mediation in the report. We're talking about four main issues. Beginning, we will talk about what is the definition of mediation and what is the main characteristic of this process, especially in general, and which also is applied in our report. Next, then we will go to the historical and cultural root of mediation in our report. We're talking about three main era: before Islam, during Islam, and after this process. Then we're talking about the exact and the role of mediation in the religious and traditional Arab society. But when we're talking about the Arab society, we're talking about three main levels: the religious level, the traditional and custom level, and we also have the final one, the legal or the official levels. This we'll talk about in the last section of this presentation, talking about the implication of of mediation within the legal different laws and legislation in the Arab countries. So, to begin with, when we talk about mediation, what do we mean with mediation? In general, mediation is a voluntary, non-binding, and confidential process in which a neutral third party, who called the mediator, help disputing parties to reach a mutual acceptance and agreement between them. So, we're talking about three main characteristics when we talk about mediation. First, it's a voluntary process, which means there's no pressure on anyone to join the mediation process. You have the parties need to enter this process by themselves with a full will. Confidential and neutral process. Confidential means that everything that happens within the mediation process must be kept secret and confidential between the parties and the mediator. Hence, even if the mediation process, especially the non-official mediation process, failed, anything that has been said during this process cannot be taken or considered if the two parties reach the official courts. And finally, it's a neutral process, which means that the mediator, the person who is facilitating the process between the two parties, is a neutral one. He does not have any benefit from either of them, because and if in case he has any kind of benefits or interest that come from one party or the other one, then the whole process can be considered neutral. Secondly, there is a third party in the mediation process. The main idea of the mediation is that we have to have a third party. This person usually have either on the local level. He either have a good reputation. He is one of the community elder, maybe the religious leader, the tribes leader, or he is a person with a great and highly respected personality and position in the society. The role of this party is to facilitate the whole process between the conflict parties and help them to actually see what is the problem and the issues between them, help them reach a solution that can reach a solution and agreement to their conflicts. Finally, it's a mutual process, which means that the final solution that the two parties will reach in the end of the process is accepted by the two parties, which means we cannot actually impose any kind of solution on one party or on the other. And we cannot reach an agreement that one party accepts and the other party see as not fit for him. The main case is we need to reach and accept a mutual acceptable agreement between the two parties. This is what we mean when we talk about the mediation. This process has several core characteristics. First, as we said before, it's a voluntary participation, which means the parties have the right to enter and also to exit the mediation process with all their free will. You cannot pressure anyone or coerce anyone to actually participate in this process, or prevent them from leaving this process when they see it as not good fit for their problems. Finally, secondly, the mediator is a neutral one. As we said, the mediator must be impartial one. He shall not have any conflict of interest between him and the two conflict party, and he must respect the wish of the two one. Confidential process. As we said, everything that is said in this process is confidential, which means that if the process failed during the mediation process, nothing that happens should be taken to the court or considered in the court. So if one of the parties confesses guilt during the mediation process, this confession cannot be considered in the legal process in the court. It's a party-driven solution. One of the main characteristics of mediation is that the two parties actually reach a solution themselves. The role of the mediator in this process is not giving them the solution. It's helping them to actually reach the solution that they see fit and acceptable for both of them. And this makes the mediation differ from several other practices within the Arab world, such as arbitration or judicial process. Because, for example, in arbitration, the arbitrator, he gives the two parties the solution. However, in the mediation, the mediator helps the two parties to reach what the best solution for them, not impose any other solution on them. Finally, it's a restorative and relationship-focused process. What makes mediation a very interesting and helpful practice is that it's focused on the relationship of the people. It aims to actually restore the broken relationship that happened because of the conflict between these two parties. Hence, it's focused on restoring this relationship, repair the harm that has been done between to the two parties because of the conflict that happened between them, and this help restore their relationship in the future and stop the blame and the violence circle among them. So they won't keep focusing on the harm they have done to each other. They will work on fixing this issue, fixing their relationship, so they can just get over this page of their life and start a new chapter with a good and fresh perspective about themselves. So this is the main characteristic for the mediation. So in the Arab world, the mediation in the Arab world, we talk about three main historical era. The first one is mediation in pre-Islamic Arabia. The Arab society is a tribal society, which means that there was many practices that focus on mediations or used at least mediation in their daily process. For example, the main practices that have been used very much in the Arab countries, especially the tribal Arab countries, is the conciliation, which we call in Arabic sulah. The reconciliation is a process that is used in several practices, such as mediation and arbitration. It aims to resolve the conflict between the two parties, whether they were individual, communities, tribes, or even countries. The main aim is to resolve the conflict, set a specific reparation and compensation for the damaged party, and fix and restore the relationship between both parties. Another example or practice that has been used within the Arab countries before pre-Islam is the Traha system. This system is, let's say, there was a conflict between two parties, and the offender. So the offender will go to the tribe elders or the tribe leaders and ask them to create like a group of them. So this group will go to the victims' houses and ask them to engage in a reconciliation or mediation process with the offender. The main aim of this system is that when the elders and tribe leaders actually engage in this process, it gives the victim the sense that they are important, they are respected, and their wishes and the harm they have been done to them is recognized by all the parties. So this system also is part of the mediation process because the whole aim of this system is to start the mediation process between the two parties. Finally, what makes the mediation a very important aspect of the pre-Islamic Arabian tribal system is that the focus of mediation or restoring and repairing relationship between the conflict parties, and the aim to compensate them and restore, harmony and peace between them is the main aim of the tribal system itself. The main aim of the tribe is to keep the social harmony among its members, and when using mediation, the tribes try to resolve any kind of conflicts between its party or between the tribe themselves to keep the system peaceful and harmony between everyone and avoid any kind of further conflict that can actually result in weakening the tribe itself. Because if you have a weak tribe, you will not have a safe environment for its people. So maintaining the tribal's harmony and peaceful situation help very much in empowering these and strengthening these tribes within a very harsh environment that depends on how much the tribe is powerful in this country. So the second, let's say, era is the Islamic era. The Islam have started in the Arab world after the Prophet Muhammad. So the mediation and these practices have mentioned firstly in the Quran. The Quran supports the use of mediations and peaceful practices to resolve conflict, as it was used in Hujurat, it would say, if two parties among the believers fall into a quarrel, make peace between them. So, making the peace and resolving the conflict peacefully between the two parties is one of the main ideas that need to be taken, the first step that need to be taken according to the Quran. Another thing that Prophet Muhammad also frequently have played the role of mediator between within several conflicts, whether it was between tribes or between individuals. This role also have strengthened the idea of that mediator is a person that is respected, that have a high position, and a respect from everyone around him. Another thing, as we said, reconciliation or sulh is a very important and basic practice within the Arabic culture. And using reconciliation to resolve conflict is not only, let's say, unexpected or unusual. It is the main or first step that should be taken within all types of conflicts, whether it was criminal conflict, financial conflict, personal conflict, all of these. So another thing, it was mediation, or it was also accepted within the Islamic jurisprudence. This type of jurisprudence was recognized and considered a very legal mechanism within several types of conflicts, such as civil and family matters. In addition to that, reconciliation where it's not under Islamic law, if they could have not contract Sharia, it would say that if the source, if the reconciliation that is being used is using or stimulating, say, unacceptable goods by the Islamic religion, this type of reconciliation is not acceptable. Actually, reconciliation in conflict should be in accordance with the Islamic law. We will talk about the mediation in the Arab culture. The Arab society, as I said, is a tribal law, a tribal society. It's focused on the family as the main core of the society. Furthermore, the family as a core, there was also two several things: the honor of the family and the tribes and the community, and the social cohesion among all of these. The way to actually keep the social cohesion and keep the honor of the family is using several tools to resolve conflict and take the and save or protect the victims' rights using mediation in this case. Also, the elders in the Arab world is a very important position. So you will find tribe elders, you will find community leaders, you will find religious leaders. All of these figures play a key role in resolving conflict, whether that was using mediation, using arbitration, or other kind of practices in the Arab world. So the respect these people have in the community make it much easier for them to actually engage in the mediation process and be sure that whatever decision they will reach in the end, the whole society will accept and will implement it. Another thing is, mediation is not uncommon practices. Even if there was two children who play in the garden, fight with each other, the first step the family will take is using mediation and reconciliation just to solve the small dispute. At the same time, when we talk about conflict between two countries, Also, mediation is one of the main practices that is used to resolve this kind of mediation, this kind of conflict, whether it was commercial, political, or even military conflict dispute in many cases. So, another important issue, thing to why the Arab culture and Arab family and laws use mediation and reconciliation frequently. It's the issue is preventing any escalation of the conflict. So usually there's a conflict between two people. It is not at this drive from the beginning, the conflict will keep escalating, and the one crime that happened, for example, will become another second and third and fourth time. This is what we call prevention or judging, which is a very common practice. That when someone has killed, for example, the victim's family will try to take revenge for the offender family and kill another person and keep going. This issue will keep the dialogue going on and the relationship to be more destroyed and the social harmony to be either further destroyed. So, mediation is a tool that used to prevent any type of escalation. So once the crime is happened, and once the mediation will start, any escalation will be prevented. No one is allowed to actually commit any type of revenge action against anybody. This will give the mediation the person a chance to actually resolve the conflict, help the two people or the two parties to reach an acceptable solution for all of them, and stop any kind of violent escalation or committing any more crimes. This will help not only protect the conflict parties, but it will also help protect the community itself. Because in many cases where the conflict has escalated and the violence spread, it was not only the two parties who actually were affected by the conflict or the violence, but it was the whole community. Many people were lost their lives, they were injured, lost their houses, and it gets all the more to crush the whole system. Mediation is helped in actually prevent the escalation and keep the damage to its people. We talk later finally about the legal and institutional for mediation countries. Let's say that the importance of mediation on the social level, on the religious level, has provoked many Arab legislators to actually adopt these practices into their own legislation. For example, we talk about mediation or reconciliation, many countries have adopted these practices into their law, whether it was criminal law, civil law, or personal international law. For example, in Georgia, when we talk about mediation, there is a mediation law 2016 to license mediation system. In addition to this one, it's especially for civil and commercial cases, for example. But at the same time, in Jordan, we're talking about the juvenile law within the criminal system. The Judicial juvenile law has said that mediation is one of the main tools that should be used in additional juvenile crimes before it goes to the courts. So it is used in both civil and criminal system. Also in Palestine, used reconciliation and mediation with several laws. For example, in family courts and personal statute laws, mediation is the first step that should be taken in case of any type of dispute, whether it was divorce, marriage conflict, or children cases. Mediation is the first step, as it was said, the first step that should be taken, and it is made by the personal statute such as the court. In addition, there is also a use for mediation within the juvenile law, which considers mediation as a main practice that should be taken by the prosecution office to assist the juvenile crimes and offenses. In Egypt, for instance, also, mediation is used in personal statute cases. In general, all of the Arab countries, when we talk about the personal statute laws, actually use mediation and reconciliation.
Because as we said, the personal extension laws deal with a very specific and sensitive issue. It's family issues, husband first issues, children cases. So the main idea of using mediation and reconciliation in this type of issue is to keep the family safe, keep the family within the visible the judicial system, because the Arab countries believe that using these type of practices instead of going to the court will actually help the families to resolve the conflict better and keep the relationship much better between the two partners. So it happens otherwise. Because if these families went to the court and faced the civil and the personal extension laws, that will result in fixing in a bad way the relationship between the husband and the wife. Which means that even if they resolve the conflict in the court, they will not return to how they were before they go to the court. Which results can we would say affect the dignity of the family, children, and children, and the total community. In addition, we talk about UAE, very people. Using mediation and reconciliation is a very common way, which can help actually lessen the pressure of the official judicial system, because we're talking about huge and vast numbers of cases in country every day. Using mediation can help lessen this number of cases that the judges see every day, and at the same time, it helps the people to reach solutions out of the courts in maybe a faster time. Because in many cases, the judicial system in many countries, for example, in Palestine, in Egypt, in Jordan, the court takes a long time to actually reach a solution to the case. It can take, for example, from 1 month, 2 months to 10 years or maybe 15 years, especially for big cases like the land cases or even financial cases. So in this situation, many people prefer to go to the mediation and to the reconciliation process to save time, save money in many cases, and reach the solution that is fit for their own problems and the expectation, instead of just waiting and waiting in the court for something they may not calculate. Finally, we're talking about Morocco. Morocco used the mediation and reconciliation process into their civil procedure code. When we talk about the legal system, we talk about two types: the procedure law and the normal law. The procedure law, in many cases, whether it was civil or was criminal, they usually use mediation and reconciliation to help fasten the judicial process, to lessen the pressure on the legal system, and to give all the chance to actually reach their solution in a better way. So this is how the legal recognition, the strength, let's say, position of reconciliation and mediation on the ground reflected on how the Arab legislators have adopted this kind of process and practices into their official system. And now many prefer actually to go into a mediation process or reconciliation process that is unofficial, outside of the court, instead of going into the court and wait for maybe years and spend so much money to reach a solution they may not actually be fit for them. However, it is a very useful practices. It is used very widely. However, there is several and many challenges to actually institutionalize these practices within the Arab system. Although there is many laws that adopt mediation and reconciliation, but these laws are still limited compared to the huge number of legislation and cases and issues that facing the Arab citizen every single day. So there is a need for more regulation, more legislation to be enacted in order to deeply and more broadly use and adapt these practices. Furthermore, in several countries, there is a lack of training about what is mediation, how it can be done, what is the practices, what is the best practices of mediation, how other countries and experience are working with this kind of practices. So there is a need in many countries to create a training centers, training stations, bring training experts to actually train people in the judicial system on how to use mediation and how to enact or encourage people to engage in this kind of practices instead of going to the official system.
But furthermore, there is a resistance from the legal professionals. Going to the mediation, the reconciliation means that many lawyers, let's say, basically, will lose their not lose, well, their job will be affected negatively because if there is no people in the courts, the lawyers, let's say, will not have the same level of work and income as before. So many legal professionals and bar association can see the use and the institutionalization of mediation or reconciliation at the official level as a threat to their livelihood, to their income, and to their professional and future work. So there should be a dialogue between the legal professionals associations and the Minister of Justice and Minister of Justice in the many Arab countries to reach an acceptable solution and the ground between the two parties to actually use and adapt these practices within the legal system. Finally, there is a need to standardize framework and awareness. Although many peoples and a huge number of people of the Arab world use mediation or reconciliation, there is still a need to standardize the framework of these practices within the legal system. Because what is happening on the ground in some cases is different from what is happening on the official level. So there is a need from a work from the official level to actually standardize and spread more awareness about what is real mediation is, what reconciliation is really is among the public people. Okay, finally, I know I have talked for a long time, so finally I will conclude in here. Mediation, as we said, in Arab world is a historic practice that has been used for a long time, and it's still being used at a more, let's say, legal and official level at the time being. It was affected by two main aspects: the customs and traditions of the Arab world, and the Islamic teachings that reinforce these practices and its importance. The legal system were also aiming and working on formalizing these traditions, the reconciliation and the mediation within its legislation in order to make it much easier on both the official legal system and the individuals themselves. Finally, mediation is a very powerful tool that can be actually not used to only resolve conflict, but as I said, it's a tool that can help restore relationship and repair the damage that has been done between all the people, and in the end, reaching peace, social peace situation and social harmony.
So it is very important to actually formalize these practices and for the Arab countries and in order to use it
In a more official and practical way to make it more efficient and more helpful. So finally, thank you everyone. If anyone have any question, you can ask for me, and I would be also glad to give the presentations to anyone who need it. So thank you again, and I hope you are very good and helpful work.